breaking into the boys' club. Now this is thoughtful. Hello, this is Nikki in Shanghai. Women make the majority household purchases, but companies that build these household brands are run mostly by men. Mad Men's Peggy Olson may be surprised to find out that only 15% of senior managers in America's ad industry are women. Faced with the chronic shortage of senior talent in China, the country has welcomed women into business. But the question is, can they make it to the top? We'll be looking at glass ceiling in China today, and our own PT Black will be talking about surprising roles that women play in China's history. But first, we're talking with Laura Desmond, CEO of Starcom MediaVest Group. You are one of the very few women running a leading and global agency network, and frankly, one of the youngest. What's your secret to your success?
I think it's equal parts luck as well as, I think, right timing. But, I feel like I've always had a chance to help my company, help my clients at the same time as accelerating my career. And, I think that my company really values diversity, values difference. The Publicis Group itself is Vive la Difference, and so I think my position inside the company generally has been applauded and supported simply because it's part of their DNA to want to celebrate diversity.
Do you feel that you have actually made a lot of family sacrifices, along the way that men probably don't actually have to make?
Well, I think sure. I mean, I think the dirty little secret about all of these roles is they're hard, and I think, a man makes as many sacrifices as a woman does doing the same role. A lot of time away, a lot of travel. Even when you're home, you're, glued to your BlackBerry, to your PC, or to a mobile phone. So I think they just call for sacrifices anyway. I think that, to the degree for me that I make it work is I really try to find moments during the year where you can achieve balance. I tell everybody who works for me, and I stick to this: take all of your vacation. Don't sacrifice your holiday time. It's okay to turn the BlackBerry and the PC off over a weekend, or not look at BlackBerries after 9 p.m. at night. It's okay to draw a line or set a limit. And when you are working, be as productive as you can be, because you can't be expected to be a robot who sacrifices family and friends and fun. In fact, the people over the years who have worked for me who have sacrificed that really ended up burning out. And the last thing I want to see is people at our company burn out. So it's really about integrating fun into your life at work and putting a limit on your work life so that you can have fun and enjoy the things in life that make people happy.
So you're really saying that there isn't a glass ceiling in the West?
Is there a glass ceiling? Absolutely, sure. It's not as thick as it used to be. I think it's a lot higher than it used to be. So 20, 30, 40 years ago, the Peggy Olson that you referred to in the opening, bumped up against it, without really having to raise her head much at all. For me, it's a very different thing. I'm lucky. I stand on the shoulders of a lot of women who came before me and pushed the glass ceiling up. So is there one? Yes. Has there ever been a better time to be a woman and a senior leader in companies? No, this is a great time. And I think the advancements that I'm making and other women across our company are making is just going to make it easier for the next generation behind us to keep moving forward.
Thank you very much, Laura.
Thank you.
Time. Here is a thought or two from our own PT Black about women's role in China's history.
The improvement in the lives of Chinese women over the past century is one of modernity's greatest accomplishments. I'm not exaggerating. Only 100 years ago, women in China faced forced childhood marriage, sharply limited property rights, and little something called foot binding. Fast forward to today, where Chinese women are some of the world's most successful businesswomen. In Asia, only Thailand has more women in senior management positions. Here in China, over a third of all managers are female. Compare that to Japan or Korea, where the number is under 10%. The government deserves a lot of credit for this. The Chinese Communist Party has made women's rights central to its platform since its inception. In fact, the very first law passed by the People's Republic of China in 1950 was a marriage law that protected women's rights. The one-child policy has a particularly complicated impact here. For the moms in management today, childbirth was a one-off detour from their career. The management moms of tomorrow, today's young women, grew up as single children, and the little empresses of yesterday are not likely to tolerate bias in the workforce tomorrow. Of course, nothing is perfect. Professional women here face obstacles on all sides. Frankly, I don't know which is harder for families, the hard-drinking entertainment culture of Chinese companies or the late-night teleconferences of global firms. But let's hear it overall for progress, from bound feet to power heels.
Thanks, PT. With us now is Kitty Lun, Chairman and CEO of Lowe China, Jing Lin, Isobar CEO, Asia Pacific and Global Chief Strategy Officer, and WeiWei Chen, Chairman and CEO of Burnett Group, Shanghai. Welcome to the studio. Is there a glass ceiling in China in the media advertising agency sort of industry?
Well, I personally never felt that. I don't think there's a glass ceiling. I think all the ceilings are set up by yourself rather than by people around you. So I feel pretty confident. I don't know what you guys feel, but I never really felt a glass ceiling there.
You're witnessing the lack of glass ceiling in China, especially in front of these three women.
Yeah, I totally agree with Jing's point of view. I think from Taiwan, I moved from Taiwan to China. I don't really feel that way about this the glass ceiling. Yeah.
So there's a massive difference because in the West there is obviously surveys and everything show that there's a strong sort of invisible barrier for women to get to the top. So in China it's not the case at all.
You see, nowadays in the West there are a lot of women entering the workforce. Well, in our industry, the advertising, communication, media industry, there are actually a lot of women entering in the entry level. So is China, so is Asia. So that is more or less the same. I don't understand and I don't know why, because in China, actually, I'm sure my colleagues here agree with me that we can actually, if you are good, you can actually move to the top and be running companies and be in very, very good and respectable positions. However, in the West, there is always this beyond middle level. Women probably cannot move up to the boardroom, the C-suites. And there is actually, a phenomenon happening, and a lot of people are discussing it.
Yeah, I remember there's one story. One thing that happened to me before. A couple of years ago, there's a Japanese company approached me. I never ever want to work in Japanese company because, based on my understanding, there's no career hope for women working at Japanese company. So that's the one that I encountered. But other than that, I think I don't feel this barrier. Just like Jing said, I think it's barrier or any kind of restriction is probably set by yourself.
I think it's probably also related to the changes of women's role in the family. While there are so many working moms, there are different ways of arranging your family duties and making sure that things can go smoothly. I think that's probably one of the reasons women in the past will not be able to embrace their career to that full extent. But I think right now, because literally in China, every mom is working mom. So that actually changed the entire scenario of how life needs to be arranged and how things can be settled and managed in a different way.
But what about, at a global level, do you see a lot of opportunities for Chinese women at that level?
This is a very interesting question, obviously, because I was joking with my boss about it while I attended global conferences. I feel quite lonely there First of all, I'm probably the only few, people from the East and look like a Chinese and sitting in that room. And also, there are not that many women right now at the global level. But I can see that's going to change, especially with the emerging influence of China. And if you count all the Chinese advertising media agencies, you'll count, I think there are actually more women in the CEO and MD position than men. And this is an industry that actually women's personality and characteristics is going to grow. And it's actually something that is a good platform for women to shine. So I think that's going to change in time, and it's not going to change tomorrow, but there definitely will be more opportunity for Chinese women on the stage.
I was in Cannes 2 weeks ago, and we were hosting a seminar, and it was the first time that, in the history of the 58 years of Cannes, that we had a first discussion of women's creative women's role in the world stage of advertising. Cannes being the world's premier advertising festival or the festival of creativity, and it's actually quite demoralizing to find that among the 13 panels, 550 judges, there were only 47 female judges. So that is less than 10%. And actually among them, one chairman was a woman, and she chairs the media panel. And then among the 47, 11 were PR, media, or effectiveness. So, when you count that, the real creative women were less than 30 people. And that is actually very demoralizing, because I know that there are good creative women around the world, but how come it is still a Caucasian boys' club?
Like I was the judge for the Cannes before, and also for the New York Festival. Women, it show up, it's a rare amount of that juries. But just like Jing said, you have to speak out your mind. And there was, wow, but there's no point. You have to stand out, speak your mind. Then you will win, no matter if it's respect or win their attention. Okay, as long as you talk about the sensible point of view, something like that.
So you are all at the top of your game, and what advice would you give to young Chinese women starting out their career in the marketing industry in China?
I think you are your own barrier. Work hard, be open-minded, be outspoken, do not be afraid, and identify a role model. See whether you can find a good mentor. I think all these are very useful for your future career.
I think it's a very significant phenomenon in China. It's about commitment. No matter male or female, I found, so like Kitty said it before, they just look, right now they are thinking for better package or higher position, they just go for that, okay? Commitment is very important. I think from my personal experience, I think you have to commit your job, your role, or your career, really commit that, and no matter what happens. But here, in terms of stability or loyalty, it's very, very low.
Don't be afraid and don't try to copy what other people are doing. You're just yourself and you're unique and you can be successful.
Well, Kitty, WeiWei, Jing, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
This wraps it up for us today. Be sure to subscribe to us on Tudou or YouTube, or you can also follow us on Weibo or Twitter. We'll see you again.